Good evening. As the director of FEMA, I have to underline that the city of Moore experienced a critical challenge and catastrophe associated with one of the most destructive natural disasters, a tornado. Despite the serious consequences and damages in Moore and Oklahoma City, and in spite of serious shortage of local resources, the affected population is not alone in this situation. However, only together, following the systematic and comprehensive response management and recovery, we will certainly overcome this issue. It is my duty to announce the order of emergency post-event operations. Working in accordance with FEMA established protocols and NIMS principles, the geopolitical jurisdictions are distributed among local, state, and federal governments. Notably, the U.S. President has already approved our evaluations on post-tornado damages and more, and confirmed the procedure of official recovery and financial supporting. The central operational activities are as follows. First, the immediate help to injured or affected persons, which means the wide deployment of mobile hospitals, aid centers, and shelters. Local hospitals of Oklahoma will be functioning 24 hours. Secondly, the advanced help to vulnerable populations such as children, exhausted women, and elderly people to meet their needs in food, water, shelter, and health. Next, the arrangement of rescue, fire, and urban search teams. As south of the city stays without localized fire team support, special state fire teams will be sent to the destination to save people under the debris or those who have been trapped in complex conditions. Last, the establishment of statewide reporting systems by creating information emergency databases. Evidently, sharing of responsibilities between the organizations is very critical, as every social unit can contribute to the recovery. There are 3 high schools and a local community college in the city that can be used as temporary shelters for those without homes. Fire stations and their teams are to join the professional rescue teams to manage destructions and damages from the tornado. 3 medical facilities should be organized to accept injured persons and provide care to all affected people. Resources, mainly of the humanitarian nature, are formally to be allocated among the main stakeholders and kept by senior jurisdiction, such as local and state governments. Evidently, delegation of responsibilities will be implemented in accordance with the NIMS protocol that recommends holding of authority by local government of Oklahoma City. Such subordination would guarantee the earliest response to the post-tornado issues. This also means that communication through the single interstate would be complicated by tornado damages, and specialized emergency support teams and volunteers are engaged to clean up the road communications to facilitate logistics. Emergency logistics remains to be the principal and fundamental chain in disaster management. The information comes from the bottom as reports from stakeholders notify about necessary resources every hour, while officials respond to these inquiries accordingly. Thus, multilinear communication between the government and social services, which includes administrators, coordinators, liaisons, service planners, is certainly established. FEMA has properly prepared for this type of emergency, since Moore is a particular area of the country known for tornado activity. Therefore, weather evaluations and forecasts were operated to assist the potential aggravation of weather conditions. Nevertheless, the damages from tornado are inevitable, and FEMA responds with the power of social collectivism and structural complexity to mitigate the effects of natural disaster. For instance, we are always ready to send urgent rescue teams, the Nebraska Task Force 1 and or the Texas Task Force 1, disaster survival assistance teams, response coordination teams, and the mobile emergency response support teams for the well-regulated telecommunications and logistics to address central post-event needs of population. In this sense, emergency recovery process looks like the complex project team. Tasks are sorted by importance: critical, vital, and non-essential. Then tasks are completed in compliance with response management, health management, property reconstruction operations, site cleanups, transportation of people and supplies, and then logistics. Public health concerns as a result of tornado are also considered by FEMA. With a long-term experience in emergency response, I can assure you that basic health needs associated with humanitarian supplies, food, drinking water, warm clothes, and shelter are principally prioritized. The issues of sanitary and clinical professionalism are addressed. This means healthcare providers of the city should exclude all risks associated with health complications, communicable diseases, acute illnesses, chronic problems, physical injuries, and psychological post-disaster effects. Indeed, psychological concerns can be the source of long-term health complications. It can be intensified by the loss of living conditions, loss of property, loss of close people, and post-traumatic stress. Specialized vulnerable groups will receive the immediate help: the families, children, women, elderly people, and people with disabilities. Health risk groups like patients with heart disease, hypertension, and diabetes will not be ignored by FEMA. The strength of the human spirit is defined by the people's ability to overcome challenges. Our citizens have suffered from a natural disaster, but we will become stronger if we reunite our efforts and support each other, keeping our human self-identity. All necessary response measures are going to be implemented as soon as possible. Please keep patient and keep faith in good future. Thank you and have a good evening.